And welcome back to Real Talk Sports with Rico. Today, we're talking about the NBA top headlines and stories as preseason basketball rolls along. We are very close to getting the NBA season started. So let's go ahead and jump into, I think, some of the top storylines in the NBA. And I want to start with the Los Angeles Lakers. I want to start with Dalton Connect. I think that Dalton Connect has looked very good in his preseason appearances. You're not hearing very much about him, but he has been a stellar first round pick for the Lakers. And I think that he is going to be a player that could really get into the rotation early. And he could help the Lakers as far as really maximizing this window that they have with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. It's just going to be the question, will Coach JJ Redick go ahead and play him? And I think he should, because he's shown the ability to knock down the shot at the NBA level, and also to defensively. I think he's a lot better than what most would anticipate. I thought that he looked pretty decent at Tennessee, and I didn't think it was going to be an issue once he got to the NBA level. And I think that he's a lot more of a physical defender than most people anticipated. And so I think that the Lakers are going to definitely welcome that type of toughness. And I hope that this young man does get some minutes. But I think that that has been a key takeaway for me, really, in looking at the Lakers, is that Dalton Connect is a player that looks like he is going to make an impact as a rookie. Next up, Brandon Miller. I think that Brandon Miller in year two for the Hornets has looked extremely comfortable. He looks like he's ready to go ahead and truly embrace leading this franchise. He had a pretty good night shooting the three ball, and I think that that's only going to improve for Brandon Miller, his ability to knock down that outside jump shot. And I think the rest of his game also, too, is going to evolve. I'm looking for him to take another step defensively, but more importantly, if him and LaMelo Ball can stay healthy, I think that this Hornets team could at least be in the play-in situation. I think at the very least they should be in the play-in situation. Would not be shocked if they actually qualified for the playoffs this year. Next up, I think another storyline out of the preseason has been the Los Angeles Clippers. And I think a lot of people that are looking at the Clippers are wondering, are they going to make a move? Because they're going into this new arena. Clearly, they're going to be depending on James Harden. I've talked about the fact that they have lost Russell Westbrook. I'm going to talk about the fact that they lost Paul George. But they're depending a lot on Kawhi Leonard. And Kawhi Leonard says that he is good to go. He says that the knee is pretty good and he's going to be ramping up. But, Kawhi has said that he's going to be fine in the past, and it just hasn't really worked out that way. So I think that there has to be some real concerns there. And I would have to say that, the Clippers are going to be that team that I would look at that could make a trade very early, especially if things get off rocky and they're in this new arena. There's a lot of pressure, a lot of people saying, well, I think that championship window has closed, and it might have. But for them to maximize what they have left, they might have to go out there and get another star player to go along with James Harden and Kawhi Leonard. The question is, how much are the Clippers going to be willing to give up? Because if you do something like that, then you're going to have to give up, some of your younger players. And that may not be something that the Clippers want to do, especially if this championship window is very short. Because if you go ahead and leverage your future, it doesn't work out that way, then this Clippers team could be in trouble for quite some time as far as trying to get back to being a really good team down the line. And so next up, I want to go ahead and look at the 76ers, talking about Paul George. He looked great in his opening performance, 23 points, 6 rebounds. You get a chance to see him really score in some tight spaces on the floor offensively. I think he's one of the better players to do so in the game, and still has that two-way ability, so he can still defend and obviously score on the offensive end. But a ton of pressure on the 76ers this year. You have Embiid, you've got Paul George, you have Tyrese Maxey. And I think that this team really believes that, not only are they going to make the playoffs, but they feel like that they could be one of the final teams standing, perhaps make it into the NBA Finals. And so, that is really a lot of pressure on this team. Paul George traditionally plays pretty well during the season, but then when it comes down to postseason, it has not been very successful for him. And so hopefully the Sixers have invested in a player that can get them to the next level. That is going to be something to look out for. But thus far, Paul George looking pretty good in his early debut with the Sixers. Next up, the Warriors. And so with the Warriors, they have vowed not to make any changes that are going to set the franchise back. That's what Draymond Green said. He said it on his podcast. He said it again in media day. And you understand why. Jonathan Kuminga looked absolutely terrific against the Kings. And you see that he's shooting the three-point shot with a lot of confidence. He looks like a very versatile player that can not only score the basketball from the outside, but also, too, he's doing a great job as far as getting to the basket as well. And he looks like one of those younger players that if they were to pivot away from Andrew Wiggins, I don't think that the Golden State Warriors are going to lose much of anything. Now, I don't think that they're going to do that. There is a lot of news surrounding Andrew Wiggins and the fact that they really believe that Andrew Wiggins is going to come back and have a good year this year. And he might, after having a down year last year. Obviously, a lot of things going on, but I think that Andrew Wiggins is still going to be a pretty good player for the Warriors, and I think somebody that they would want to keep. He's been around for them in their last championship run, and they feel like he certainly still maximizes what they have with Steph Curry and Draymond Green. And so I think that they're going to ride with Andrew Wiggins, and then Jonathan Kuminga and these younger players, Moses Moody, they're going to have to step up this year. And so right now they look pretty good. They look like they really have an identity and what they're doing. It's just going to be a matter of them staying healthy now. And then the Warriors, it's like, are they going to make a trade for maybe some more size? That's something that is very questionable, because right now they're very happy with their core and things like that. But you would have to think that at some point they're going to need to add some front court help if they're going to really actually maximize Steph Curry and Draymond Green in their last little bit of window here with the Golden State Warriors. All right. And so another team that really sticks out is the Sacramento Kings. I think that DeMar DeRozan has looked very good in his debut with this team. He was the clutch player of the year last year, or the best clutch player of the year, I think. And then, on top of that, he is more of a half-court player, and I love the fact that he's been able to come over with the Kings. He shows that he can play this up-tempo style and still help them out. I think that he is going to really help between him and De'Aaron Fox. I think that they were actually 1-2 as far as winning the Clutch Player of the Year award or something like that. And so either way, they're both clutch, and these are players that you would want to have on your team. And I am looking forward to seeing what the Kings look like. I think that they're going to make a lot of noise in the NBA this year for sure. Next up, just looking at a couple of rookies. And so looking at the Grizzlies and looking at Zach Edey, I think that Zach Edey has looked really good. He's shown the real ability to defend, really not get drawn off his feet with pump fakes and things like that. He's finding ways to finish. He had 15 points against the Chicago Bulls. And I can only imagine that he is going to really add to the Memphis Grizzlies this year, especially once they get Jaren Jackson Jr. back from the hamstring injury. You get Ja Morant back from that, it looks like a twisted ankle or something like that. But once you get those players back, you add Zach Edey. This is a team that could easily be in the top of the West. And so I'm curious to see what they're going to look like. I think the Bulls have a really good player with Modest Buzelis. I think that he is really working his way towards perhaps getting into the starting lineup at some point in time. So definitely make sure that you keep Modest Buzelis on the radar, because I think that he is going to be a very good player. And then lastly, with the Miami Heat, Khalil Ware. I think that Khalil Ware has been a terrific center for them. I think that Miami has quietly actually gotten a pretty good young core to go around Jimmy Butler. And so, I think that they may make some noise this year, personally just thinking about them. But, we'll see what happens in the NBA. They still got Tyler Hero out there as well. I love Jaime Jaquez Jr. too. And so, the Miami Heat, I think that they did well in the draft by getting Khalil Ware. And so anyway, let me know what you're thinking in the comments as we are talking a little bit of NBA top headlines and stories. We'll be talking about the NFL on the next show. We're going to actually recap all of Sunday's games, be setting you up for Monday Night Football as well. You can follow the show on Spotify. You can also follow us on YouTube as well. This is Rico. It's Real Talk Sports. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.